What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we're going to be doing our second draft in the Arena Open. And as you can see here, if we get no wins, we win 5,000 gems, 1 win, 15,000 gems, 2 wins, $500 US, 3 wins, 1,000, and 4 get the full 2,000. If you've seen the previous video, we went 3-1 in the first draft, so we can't get any losses in this run. We have to go a perfect 4-0 in order to get the cash. We just need to get 2 wins off the bat to get a little bit of the cash. So we're doing our best as we navigate this draft, and we open up a pretty powerful pack here with C double and Garuda here. This is definitely an interesting one. C double, these are both very strong cards, but Garuda is just phenomenal if you can companion it. And being able to first pick the companion, I think it's worth taking over the C double. It's awkward because you're passing a blue rare, and like you probably want to end up in blue with Garuda. However, we could always just take Garuda and play it as a main deck card if we get past other more powerful cards as well. So I think Garuda there over. I like Garuda there over the C double. Now it's another interesting pick here. And we have Scornblade Berserker, Meteor of the Mines are both fine options, as the only one of them though that is not is Meteor of the Mines or like Order of the Mirror, and neither of those are particularly appealing to me in this spot. I think here I'm happy to just take the Skittering Surveyor. We don't have to companion Garuda, and this keeps us very open here with a Dimir card, which we can play in a blue or a black deck, and then picking up Skittering Surveyor here. We don't have to play Surveyor. We don't have to play Surveyor. We can still keep ourselves open to companioning Garuda, but Garuda is just a fantastic top end card, regardless of if we decide to companion it or not. So now, this is a pretty weak pack. Invasion of Kamigawa, Tetsuko. Tetsuko is good, and then outside of that, there's really not that much else. The land is certainly a fine option here, I think, and I think I'd be happy with taking Meeting of the Minds, but I've been a pretty big fan of Tetsuko. There's just incidentally a lot of 1 power and 1 toughness creatures in this format, and if you can pick it up early, you can add a little bit of an uptick to the value you place on those creatures like Skittering Surveyor. It helps you flip battles. It's also just a good early play with 3 toughness to defend the board well. So I'm going to pick this one up here, and that keeps us, leaning towards blue, and potentially not playing the Garuda as a companion, but still being open to it. Now we have a really interesting pick here between Omen Hawker, there's a dual land, and the Etherblade Agent. I think here we could take Etherblade Agent, but this is a pick where whatever we take is going to lock us into remove some of our flexibility. If we take Etherblade Agent, we're keeping the flexibility of companioning Garuda, but we're then putting ourselves pretty firmly in blue-black, whereas if we take Omen Hawker, we're still live to just be blue at this point. We're still just cutting blue, and I think I like the upside of taking the Omen Hawker there and giving us the ability to have more flexibility in terms of our colours as opposed to like whether or not we just companion Garuda. Now we have Ichor Drinker versus Temporal Cleansing. I think this is a pretty like close pick in terms of power level in like a really aggressive blue-black deck. However, I think I'm just going to pick up the Temporal Cleansing here. Again, like Ichor Drinker is close in power level, but we can stay just blue at this point by taking the cleansing and keep ourselves open to what our second colour is going to be. I don't think like this draft has indicated to me at all that like blue is wide open or anything like that, but blue is certainly strong enough to support multiple people at a table drafting it, and we're in the position where I think that's like where we're meant to be ending up. But we want to make sure our second colour is open so that we can pick up some really powerful cards in that colour. Here I'm just going to continue the blue train with Meeting of the Minds. It's probably just the best card in the pack. I think Render Inert is good. If we were in blue-black, and Invasion of Belenon's decent, not amazing. It's also the Ancient if we're in green and a dual land, but here I think we can continue the monocolored theme and just keep picking up cards that like we're very happy playing. We're very happy playing and not sort of hitting that power level that we might otherwise hit. So now we have a pick between Tiller of Flesh, dual land, and Negate. I think we just take Tiller of Flesh here. We're fine if we end up in blue-white. This card can be also like very sideboardable against longer games where you've got a lot of interaction. Also worth noting here that white and a black common are missing from the pack, which means that somebody has sort of moved into that direction a little bit. Now, okay, here I'm just going to pick up, ditch the Tiller of. We're not going to ditch the Tiller of Flesh straight up, but there's nothing in this pack that's like particularly powerful other than Storm Sculptor. Just come around last pick of the, like it's the 8th pick, so it's the last pack we see, and it indicates to me that like potentially blue and red are open, with Dreadship and Prankster still being in the pack as well. So this is certainly the most powerful card in the pack, much more powerful than the Tiller of Flesh, and we're happy to pick that one up here. Now I've got to pick between Ergamon and these mediocre white cards. I think we just cut the blue here and take that. Similarly, like we could take Zada and try and set up some kind of like combo deck with it. I think here the upside of Zada is much higher than anything else. Like I don't think we want to end up playing Zada, but we certainly could if we pick up enough things that go with it. If we picked up the instant that makes the creature have base power toughness 4/3, and you draw a card, that's really good with Zada. If you have a lot of tokens, like if we had a lot of Rails reinforcements and Joyful Storm Sculptors, that could be good. Here I'm just going to take Hanger Scrounger over the Tarkir. Actually, I think I'm just going to take Tarkir Dune Shaper. I think it's like pretty unlikely we play Hanger Scrounger. I'm not really a massive fan of the card. And if we do end up blue-white for whatever reason, I quite like Dune Shaper. Marauding Dreadship is actually good in the blue-red deck and really good with Tsuko. So happy to pick that one up here. I think it's likely that blue-red is open, but blue-red is not the strongest archetypes, and so like I'm still very happy to move out of these red cards for like if we open a really strong white card or something like that. Coming in hot is good with, naturally good with Zada. Now we have a pick where we've got to pick between Dusk Legion Duelist, which is a pretty fantastic rare. However, we don't have any +1/+1 effects, and blue-white's not really the deck for that. And then there's Kenra Spellspear, which is a card I really, really like. Just super powerful Trample Prowess. I think given the red cards we saw late, it's a strong likelihood that red is open in this pack, and I think it's like not that much worse than the white cards that I'm willing to just speculate here and take it, and hope that like blue-red is just really open and we get hooked up in red here. So now, really not very much for us in this pack at all. There's a Velodot Key for the Flame, but we don't have any equipment. There's a Collective Nightmare, which is like the best card in the pack, along with Invasion of Azgol. But I think I'm just going to take the blue-red dual land. Just if we do end up in blue-red, it's going to be really, just really good for us in terms of maximizing our mana. It's going to allow us to potentially splash as well. So I'm pretty happy to take, I'm not happy to take this here, but I'm definitely happy to play one, and it's a good spot to get it and leave us open to improving our mana base. Wow, so now I've hit the Transcendent Message here. I think seeing the Rails Reinforcements here as well indicates to me that no one's really in the blue-red Convoke deck at this table, and we can certainly look to move into it and start to hopefully, you know, maybe we will this Rails Reinforcements, maybe there's some Preening Champions that we can get to give us multiple bodies in order to maximize the Convoke on Transcendent Message. So just after taking Transcendent Message, I think it's correct to take Rails Reinforcements over the Invasion of Regatha. I like Invasion if you've got some of the Invasion of Acadia or other battles that you can flip with it, but other than that, I don't think it's a particularly good card. I think if it wheels, we'll certainly take it and look to sideboard it, but here I'm happy to just pick up Rails Reinforcements. So I think we can just cut these. Now, like, I don't think as well we're going to be companioning Garuda here. I just think it's a little bit awkward with the way that our deck has turned out. So now I've got to pick between Invasion of Vryn and Shivan Branchburner. I think we just want to take the Vryn. There are better cards we can get to Convoke. An Invasion of Vryn is really good. I think over some of these other 4-drops here, like we're probably not playing Protocol Knight, and we can probably not play Zada as well, which cleans up our curve a little bit in order to fit that one in. So this is certainly not like the best start to a draft ever, but we've got some powerful cards in Kenra Spellspear. Omenhawk can be very powerful. Invasion of Vryn is good. Joyful Storm Sculptor, Garuda, and Transcendent Message. So it's pretty rare that like a draft like this you're going to get an absolutely insanely busted deck, just because by virtue of the fact that everyone drafting is probably pretty good at draft, and so they're not going to allow you to be past just insane cards over and over again. So now it looks like pretty clear that red and white are the open colours at this, like that everyone's fighting over blue, green and black, the best 3 colours in the set, and the leftover scraps are the red and white cards. Sorry, excuse me for the yawn. If you're watching this, it's 5 AM in Australia when we have to draft this these opens, and I just got up like 3 minutes before this after staying up till 20 past 1 AM to finish the first draft. It's quite early here. So now I think we just pick up another Dreadship with Tsuko. It's pretty good, especially like also with Omenhawker. It gets it a lot better as well. So now City on Fire, not really into this. I think it's a bit gimmicky in this deck, so I'm just going to go ahead and take Furnace Host Charger here, though we're hoping not to have to play it. Yeah, if we can pick up some more like Omen Hawkers, I think are really good in the deck. As long as if we can get some more cards that have incubate as well, it like maximizes it, because this card can just be used to convoke out your convoke spells, but also like if you can go Omen Hawk at turn 3 Dread Ship, you can then flip the incubate token, immediately attack with the 4/1. It's just extremely efficient. So much happy to pick up the Shivan Branch Burner there. It's just a better top end card than the 4/4 flyer, and the fact that we can convoke it out as well. I think here I actually take Invasion of Azgul there over the Valdak. It's very unlikely that we're playing Valdak, and maybe like there's a deck that we come up against that has very few creatures, like a lot of high power creatures, and we want that kind of sacrifice effect against it. Yeah, this deck really, like at the moment, what we need is more removal. Like the only thing we have is Temporal Cleansing. And other than that, we're just going to be relying on outclassing and doing more powerful things than our opponent, which in this format is a pretty, not a great place to be. So, going to really be prioritizing, I think, removal here in pack 3 if we can get it, like Stoke the Flames, Volcanic Spites, Forest Dispersals, etc. Now I think we just pick up Invasion of Regatha. We may actually play this given we've picked up the Invasion of Mercadia and the ability, and Invasion of Rin, so I can flip both of them by itself. Alternatively, it could just be a sideboard card for us, in that we can bring it in, you know, when the matchup's like favourable and there's something for it to kill. So no removal for us in this pack. Complete the circuit. You may cast sorcery spells this turn, so they had flash, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you copy that spell twice. Yeah, I just don't think we're going to have like the mana or the spells for that to be particularly good, and so I think Inga here is going to be the pick. Inga is just like being able to scry 3, and is very strong if we do get some removal as well. It's not hard to set up a situation in which you do get to draw the 3 cards, or at least threaten to draw the 3 when Inga dies. And there's Elish Norn. Oh, wow, and there's really nothing in this pack for us at all. So we have some white cards in this, and outside of our Garuda, the blue is just like not that amazing. I think we actually just take Elish Norn here. This might seem like a pretty crazy pick, but like we're not playing Thrashing Frontliner or Wartrain Slasher, not playing Halo Charge Scarb. Like we don't have many, we're not missing much with that pick, and I think Elish Norn is just so powerful that it's like worth taking it and speculating there with the pick. Now we have a pick between Searing Barb, which is not good at all, and Fearless Skald. I'm just going to lean towards the red cards here, because we could end up in blue-white in this situation. If we cut the red, I think it's like pretty unlikely that we're cutting red here. And so I'm just going to pick up Fearless Skald, and then yeah, okay. Here's Volcanic Spite, pick 4. Happy with that. I don't think we're going to be able to play Elish Norn here. We do have like the Surveyor. We don't have any treasure really at all. We could be like red, white, and splash blue and cut Garuda and Transcendent. Oh, these packs are not great here. Don't really have anything that works particularly well with Complete the Circuit, so don't really want to play that. I think actually we're just going to take Ramosian Greatsword here Got some smaller creatures that it goes well with. We can convoke it out. Makes our little creatures a lot more effective. Now there's Invasion of Coldheim, Flywheel Racer. I think we'll take Invasion of Coldheim just for the sideboard here. So now I've got to pick between Omen Hawker, Baral here, with 5 instants and sorceries, so Baral's not that good. And a Marauding Dreadship, as well as the Alabaster Host Intercessor if we want to try and play. I think I'm just going to take Alabaster here. It might seem like a very strange pick, but I think Elish Norn is just so good that maybe we're meant to ditch. Like, Elish Norn is better than Garuda by a significant margin. And we can just play white-red here. Like Tiller of Flesh. And then cut. Cut these blue cards. Bring in like Furnace Host Charger. Maybe we splash some of the blue cards here. Marauding Dreadship is another good one in that vein. And now I can pick up, I think, just an Infected Defector. Probably over. Yeah, I think Infected Defector is quite good here. Now another Alabaster Host Intercessor. So building this one's going to be really interesting because Elish Norn's just so powerful that it is worth speculating there for it. And we're going to have to splash some cards, but we do have like the mana fixes in these Land Cyclers and Saltwater Cliffs. So we're going to be able to play some blue cards here. The question is just which ones do we want to play. I think Tetsuko is like really strong on this deck, given the way it's sort of panned out in that we've got another Dreadship as well. So I think, yeah, we do want to probably splash Tetsuko. So it's going to make a lot of our creatures unblockable. The other option as well is to just like cut these bad white cards and then play the really powerful blue-red single colored cards and Garuda. No, we don't want to set it as companion. So we can play like Invasion of Vryn, Inga, Tetsuko and Omen Hawker. Something like this. I don't need the Mountain Cycler, I think, in this build. And then potentially just like run a bit of a split mana base here where I don't know if we need. So we need that's 6, 7 blue sources, and then we have 6, 7 white sources for Elish Norn, as well as 8 sources for. Yeah, I think maybe we bring the Furnace Host Charger in that case. I don't know if 4 Marauding Dreadships is where we want to be. Probably not wanting to be an Invasion of Vryn. Maybe we're rather Temporal Cleansing for the interaction, which we're like pretty severely lacking. And we probably want one. Sort of want to cut down on all the blue cards unless they're like essential. So Omen Hawker and Tetsuko are really good in our deck, and Garuda's just like the power that we're otherwise missing. We have 7 sources for it, and then we have 6 sources for Elish Norn, as opposed to like this mediocre deck that I just don't think is going to get there. I think really Like if we're on the play, maybe we can sideboard into this like white-red deck that is just a little bit more aggressive, but I don't think we really got there in terms of the power level, and maybe we need to be a little bit riskier in terms of how what our strategy is. Yeah, I think this is potentially the build I'm going to run with. Although it is very awkward in terms of mana, and maybe like the power is not, I actually think the power is not potentially there in order to justify it, and maybe we want to try and just like get some cheap wins like Mirror and Banesplitter and Ray of Invasion of Coldheim here in this like aggressive white-red strategy. Like this build is very aggressive here in terms of what it's trying to do. I just think it's like significantly worse than the white cards that we're adding in, are just significantly worse than the blue cards. And it's probably going to be worth us trying to be a little bit greedy here and just go for the higher like power level. So, yeah, so I think here, I think I like the lands. And there's 7 white sources for Elish Norn and the host intercessors, and then we have 7 blue sources as well for our cards, as well as 9 red sources. So this is certainly not how I, would have liked the deck to turn out, and the Elish Norn sort of, I think, threw me a little bit in the draft, but this deck certainly has some like powerful draws, and we'll see how we go when it comes to game 1. Alrighty, game number 1 here. We're on the draw. His hands are key with all of our colours. Double Dreadship, Joyful Storm Sculptor. Definitely want to see double Plains and double Mountain before we see triple blue, but having all of our colours is, we can't really ask for much more. So opponent's on green-white. It's definitely not one of the stronger archetypes, but I don't think our deck is particularly good. I don't really expect our deck to definitely not go 4-0, and I think the goal here would be pretty happy to eke out a 2-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were just out after the first match here. Also, like green-white can be a little bit scary because that they're probably got a powerful version of the deck if they've somehow ended up in green-white. This is a really good start for them with Wary Thespian beating down into the Invasion of Ixalan, which we don't match up well into at all. Our deck's also definitely much better on the play than the draw. Though Elish Norn and we do have some top enders quite good, so opponent's got their SRAM. Looks like they didn't hit a land there. They've hit the land, they had the land in the hand. Here, Kenra Spell Spear. Would have loved to have drawn that one last turn, but I think here we just run it out. We don't want them to flip the battle if we can stop it, and so we'll trade Kenra Spell Spear here to prevent that from happening. Prevent it from guaranteed happening. Opponent's probably going to have a removal here for that, but there's not really much I don't think we can do about that. Opponent's on a green-white. I don't know what they'll be splashing red for. Could just also be 5 colour and we haven't seen some of the other stuff yet, so just have to wait and see. I think opponent's thinking about killing Spell Spear and flipping the invasion. I think they definitely should in this situation. The only card that really punishes us, I think, is Aerial Boost. So here, we could Yeah, I think we just need to delay them from flipping this for as long as possible. And if we're trading 1-for-1, I'm pretty happy with that. If we somehow draw something that can block favorably, then that's going to be really good for us. So I think we can get rid of Dreadship. I think we can get rid of Mountain here and just take the Alabaster Host Intercessor. Next time we're going to be able to play Storm Sculptor, gum the board right up, and then we're going to have the Alabaster Host Intercessor the turn after to take down a big threat, which makes it less dangerous if this invasion does flip, which they're going to flip now. But they're investing like a lot of resources into just flipping the invasion, and we're going to have a good way to deal with it in Alabaster Host Intercessor. So put them up in some kind of like Naya equipment sort of auras matters theme. Storm Sculptor here is good. We'll just say go. We'll definitely block the Billy Rider if they attack with it. Like, I'm not going to respect that they have the trick without, like, I can't just let them hit us for 2 for free every turn for the rest of the game. And I'd also prefer them to like blow the trick on the 2-3 than when we have Alabaster Host Intercessor in play and we like potentially need to block with that a little bit more. But also we can just, we could theoretically, so Invasion of Mog here, pretty good. Really don't want this to flip here, so I think we just block with 1 token. And now this turn we can play the Host Intercessor, get rid of the Trampler, and we like can double block the Billy Rider here. They do get to kill this and get this back, but it will be on the front side. They won't have flipped the battle, and we're going to have double Dreadship next turn. But I think they're probably going to have a removal spell here for Host Intercessor. Their own Host Intercessor, which is like the worst possible one, because you get the card back. It's actually, no, it's not. It's fine, because if we draw Temporal Cleansing or manage to kill that in combat some way, it's possible for us to like then get it back. Now we're in the like super awkward spot of, do we let this flip? I think I'm actually happy to let them. I think we kind of have to let them flip here. If we trade here, we're just never going to be able to deal with the Kithkin Billy Rider without the 2-3. So now we can, I think, Invasion of Mercadia here. We need to draw answers, and the Dreadships just aren't going to be doing it. Happy to pitch the land here. Hit another one. And now we can incubate as well. So I think it's pretty unlikely we're going to be winning this game. Really need like the opponent to probably make a mistake here. And they've got Invasion of Ikoria in their hand, so the deck does look a little bit clunky. So I think I'm probably going to streamline our deck on the play. Okay, Kenrith is just going to be enough here, I think, to win this one. So the deck looks a little bit, I mean, it doesn't actually look clunky at all. It just looks like a very good green-white deck. So I think on the play we're going to need to get a little bit more. Yeah, I think this game's just over. So happy to wrap this one up here. I get the first one, but I think, yeah, we're going to need to be a little bit more streamlined on the play here and go for the sort of red-white version of the deck. And then on the draw we can be that more like high-powered version of the deck. Tiller of Flesh isn't actually very good in this deck, so let's go ahead and bring in the equipment, bring in Invasion. Could bring in Zada. I think we can take out that. Yeah, I think actually Zada is fine. Keep play coming in hot with it as well if we wanted to get a little bit friskier, but yeah, I think the combo might actually be worth it here. We don't have anything else that combos with Zada though, so it's just a 1-card combo. I don't really love that. I think I'd rather play the Infected Defector here. So this is just going to be the more streamlined version of the deck. And we've just got to hope that we sort of get a good draw here. So we're going to cut all of this. Probably run 7 and 10 mountains. Just got the double host in Cessar. We've got way less white requirements here, and we've got a Skittering Surveyor. So this is how we're going to run this one on the play, and just hope for a really strong opening draw here. And like really, we just need to see Elish on if we're going to have a chance of winning. This hand's like not great, but I think it is a keep. And just gotta hope opponent like has a slow hand. So Taki Dune Shaper, better late than never. We're gonna go ahead and run out the Dreadship. Can't attack into that. So now next turn, like we can incubate, or we can convoke out the Ramonian Greatsword. That's actually pretty interesting. Greatsword's going to make this like a 4-3. They've got no... I think we just convoke this out. What it does is, if they, or they've got the green land there. I thought they might be stuck on just all white. But now like next turn we can play Defector. Then we can set up like the flip and equip the Greatsword on the Defector with Incubate as well. They're going to get in. The lifelink actually super relevant in this matchup here. So now, yeah, I think we just run out the Infected Defector. And with Tiller of Flesh, we can next turn play Tiller, equip the Greatsword on the, probably on the Dune Shaper. Leave our Incubate token back to block the Host Sanctifier. Or actually just use it to have Dreadship trade for it. Ozolith going to be a massive problem for us. They're going to get a huge lifelinker. We have no real way of dealing with this. So, like, we need this game to end pretty quickly. We don't really have a lot of means of doing that. I think this is looking like it's going to be an L here. Elish Norn is potentially the the one card that can win us this game somehow. So I think let's equip Greatsword onto Tiller of Flesh here and go ahead and ship the turn. If we draw the planes that we need, we can cast Elish Norn, and then the next turn, if they don't have anything to deal with it, we can flip Elish Norn. And they've already used their Realmbreaker's Grasp here. So if we do flip it, we incubate to 5 times. Then we transform. Then all of our creatures get double. Then we destroy all other permanents except for Phyrexians. We have a lot of Phyrexians as well. Okay, wow, so they've got the combo here. Opponent's deck's really sweet. I think the only way we're going to win this game is if we manage to draw... If we manage to draw a Plains this turn, we really need to hit Plains. It has to be, I think, this turn. Host Intercessor is effectively a Plains. And now we just ask them the question of, do you have anything to do with our good friend, the Lord and Saviour, Elish Norn? If you don't, we can potentially win this game and cheese this game a little bit. But I think they're probably going to have something here. I'd be pretty surprised if they didn't. Yeah, I think that's pretty much GG. Unless we draw another copy of Host Intercessor here. Yeah, we really have Host Intercessor and nothing else. I think is really going to do this. So Shivan, yeah, I don't even just pay the mana for it, but like really here we're just delaying the inevitable right now, I think. Opponent a little bit condescending there with the nice. Definitely not how I wanted this draft to go. Definitely not the type of deck I envisaged when I got up at 5 AM this morning. Potentially we should have just stuck with blue-red and ignored that Elish Norn. But I mean, they're just absolutely comboing off here with their green-blue cards. So if we can draw Alabaster Host Intercessor this turn, maybe we can get back in this. Like, that's still somewhat awkward for them to be attacking here. We can trade like Shivan and we can like double block, and it's not a great trade for them. So we've got a few turns here to hit the Alabaster Host Intercessor, I think. It's not going to do it. So we can transform here. And say go. Yeah, really I think our only out here is to hit Alabaster Host Intercessor. The sad thing as well, we can't even like immediately flip Elish Norn. We'd have to wait until the next turn. The opponent's creatures are just getting bigger and bigger. So yeah, I think really the lack of interaction in our deck is sort of part of the reason why it's not particularly good. Opponent's just got a really strong green-white deck as well, so I think that deck's going to do pretty well here, and they're a good chance of going deep into the cache. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be for us here, but regardless, like I'm still going to upload this video, and I hope you enjoyed, watching me try and navigate the second draft of day 2. Not the way we wanted it to go or anything like that, but it's still always interesting to see, and like I'm happy to upload drafts that don't go as well as I would have liked, just to show you like no drafter is perfect. Everyone has bad drafts, and they can happen in like the worst situation possible, where you want, like, I obviously would prefer a really good deck here over any other time that I draft. So opponent is thinking about whether or not they attack. I think they can pretty safely just get in with the 10-10 lifelink here, and like no trade is good for us. Let's go ahead and crew up the dreadship here. And then we activate the incubate token. And the way we're going to block here is, like, we've really just got to hope they have nothing, but if we block this way, they only get to kill 2 creatures. If they have any trick, obviously, like, they just blow us right out here. But they don't have it, so we only lose 2 creatures there. Pretty decent for us. Alabaster Host Intercessor one time for us. Rayav. Not going to do it either. Let's go ahead and equip the Greatsword. Say go here. The other awkward thing now is, like, we're not going to have the creatures left over, I don't think, to sack with Elesh Norn if we do manage to hit. Yeah, I think the mistake was probably taking the Elesh Norn and warping the draft around it. I think we really should have just stuck with blue-red. We didn't see a ton of really strong blue cards in pack 3, which is pretty unfortunate. And maybe, like, in this draft we should have kept the, like, blue-red version of the deck with more interaction, the blue-red-white, and just gone for the high power level than streamlining. We certainly didn't draw a good hand for the more streamlined white-red aggressive deck here. So opponent's now going to start upgrading their Ozolith. Botanical Brawler is still just getting right out of hand here. But we can just trade 2 for 1 here if they don't have a trick. And I don't think they do because of the way that they blocked last time, but it's highly possible they just drew a trick this turn. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is just, like, extremely game over at this point. Unfortunate way for this to end, but I hope you still managed to, you know, enjoy the video, and, like, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you haven't checked out my other videos on the Arena Open, there is another draft video of the draft 1, and there's also 2 sealed runs there as well. That's going to do it for me here. This game's just over when they attack with the Botanical Brawler. But yeah, be sure to check out those videos if you haven't seen them already. I hope you enjoyed the video, regardless of the fact that it wasn't the greatest draft and certainly not the best game from us. And I'll see you for the next one.